Well, let me welcome you to the conversation segment of the Signature Show this Sunday. Of course, my name never changes. It is Mwabueze Njok. Now, just last week, the federal government announced the creation of 774,000 jobs in the agriculture sector. And the Central Bank of Nigeria went ahead to promise that it will absorb 50% of the risks involved in the loans that will drive these new jobs. Before this time, the federal government had also created 774,000 other jobs in the local government, in public works. Now, all these are in a move to reduce the unemployment in the country, which has been one of the factors driving agitation by Nigerian youths, even in the time of the NSAS protests. Now, this afternoon I have a guest, Professor Ben AKANEGBU, who is an intellectual and economist from Nile University. We are going to interrogate how these jobs address the unemployment challenge, at least within the youth bracket, and other issues thereto. Professor Ben, you're welcome to the conversation.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Prof, 774,000, another 774,000, that's a number, isn't it? Don't you think that this is big enough to begin to make an impact in the unemployment challenge Nigeria is facing?
It is a good beginning. It will definitely make impact in the short run, but I don't know about that in the long run. I would say I give kudos to the federal government for at least starting something, at least letting the kids be engaged. But I don't think that will solve our unemployment problem. But it's a good beginning. There are ways you can create sustained employment, not just by creating 774,000 jobs and another 774,000 jobs, which is still under 2 million employment creation. If government could, in the short run, do what they're doing, but the most important thing is that the government should be able to create the enabling environment for the organized private sectors to thrive. Because in the long run, it's the organized private sectors that create jobs, not government. But government can give the incentives to them through infrastructure, provision of infrastructure, like good access to water, good access to road, good access to electricity. Those things will encourage the private sectors to reduce their cost. And once their cost is reduced, the tendency is that they make profit. And once they make profit, the next thing is that they will have enough to employ, the youths and others. So I believe that what government did is a good start, no question on that. We need to encourage them, but they have to know that they will not solve the unemployment problem. But they have to do what they have to do by creating that enabling environment. And like I said, there are many ways they can do that, of course.
Prof, let me interject here. Let me just bring in current conversation, current political conversation in the West. Just on Wednesday, the intellectual elite, the capitalist elite in both US and Europe began to question whether capitalism and free market, the way they are, whether they are humanist, whether they are caring, whether that is how a global world should go. As a matter of truth, as at Friday morning, They were talking about reinventing capitalism and restructuring it in such a way that profit, no matter how it comes, doesn't drive development and job creation. Trying to give more responsibility to the system, the government, and allowing the private sector to play a complementary role. This new thinking, which is just a current development, isn't it something we should begin to toy with in a situation that we don't even have the capital to play around with?
I think it's a good idea, and I think that is good for Nigeria to take a look at that. Like, if you look at it, in the Keynesian school of thought, said that there must be a government intervention in anything you do for the economy to move forward. Against the other school of thought that said, leave it alone. Leave the forces of the demand and supply to dictate. That's the classical school. So the point is, I think the move for government to, come in, I think is good. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because government have to do their part, and the organized private sector have to do their part. And the two coming together, I think, will be better for the economy of Nigeria.
Prof, can we borrow something happened during the Obasanjo era? Without being patronizing, the Obasanjo era virtually created a Dangote group by a simple, single policy of backward integration, of stifling competition against Dangote interests, and allowing it a robust field to grow. Today, Dangote employs in hundreds of thousands. Some of you scholars have spoken about Buharinomics, which seems to be dispensing opportunities. That is government dispensing opportunities. Just the same way they are creating 774,000 jobs times 2. Is it wise for our government to begin to look at certain sectors of the economy and replicate the Dangote experience?
That's interesting. I personally believe that there is nothing wrong with that. For government to come in, look at different sectors, and see who are the performers, and be able to encourage them. Just like what we say, government have to participate. They must create that environment. They must give tax rebate, like tax holidays. They must be able to reduce tax for the organized private sector. So there is nothing, and I think they should go that way. Go to the economy and look and see those performing business people and support them, just like you said the government did help Dangote Group. There's nothing wrong in helping others who are really doing well. They can isolate them. That does not mean that they cannot provide for every person, but you can isolate those high performers and encourage them, because it is only the organized private sector that can create jobs, and meaningful jobs for the long haul. What government is dishing out money is in the short run. They can't continue to do that. How can they sustain it? 774,000 jobs times 2. Yes, they do it this year. Would they do it next year? Would they continue to do it? How long can they do it? So the fact of the matter is that government should be able to, like your question, isolate those people who are high performers like Dangote. There are people like, if not as much as him, but at least to some extent. So I think they should do that, and I think I encourage that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Prof, that's a mindset I want you to interrogate. Some establishment mindset that says, when we encourage a business to grow, we are doing a favor to that person. And therefore, I select whom to give this favor or whom not to give this favor. Is it a favor, really, for government to isolate some groups and encourage those businesses and letting them to grow within the national economy?
Personally, I don't think it's just a personal favor, but it's a wide societal favor. Because we should be looking at the long run. But in doing that, we must be sure who we are selecting. What is the yardstick of the selection? We have to be fair to everybody. It has to be open, transparent. And once it's transparent and we are making sure that we are getting the high shooters in the economy, I don't think it's a personal favor, it's a societal favor. It will, at the end, encourage and help everybody. It will create more jobs. The key is that we need to create jobs. And we need to encourage those who are doing well already. Okay? We are not saying that we're not going to help, the basic provision of infrastructure. No. But we are saying we are doing that, being mindful of the fact that there are people who will create more jobs than others. So we can gear our attention to those groups. Either is in the agricultural sector or in the light manufacturing sectors. But in those areas, we have people who are performing. We can't continue to just be dishing out a small amount of money to 774,000 people every year. It's not making much impact. That's not job creation. You are employing them, but that is not creating jobs. Creating jobs is specifically done by the private sector. You need to encourage them. They are the ones that create the jobs. Okay? So to me, if they can do that, if they can isolate those high shooters, there's nothing wrong with that. Look at Dangote. Dangote has created many jobs. It's because of the help he gets from the government. Okay? There's nothing wrong in, for example, the custom duties for those who are bringing in maybe the capital equipment to get into agriculture or light manufacture. You can give them zero duty. You can say maybe a tax holiday for 5 years, 3 years. This is how job is created. This is the supply side economics. That is the only way. I have to say the way it is because that's the only way.
Prof, can we now dwell a little bit more on the agriculture sector, which is where government is targeting to create this new set of 774,000 jobs? Is our agriculture sector attractive enough now to absorb 774,000 products of Nigerian universities who indeed are the people agitating for these jobs? Or are we creating these jobs for, I must mind my language, for the hoi polloi?
If you look at the agricultural sector, what will end up creating is substance kind of famine, where you give some few naira to some people. What do you expect them to do with that? If you are serious in creating jobs through the agricultural sector, you have to empower, mechanize those who will go into mechanized agriculture. You don't have to give them the money to go into that because there are people who are ready to do that, but you have to give them the incentive. You have to create the incentive for them. You have to create the access road for them. You have to give them the power. You have to give them other rebates. I bet you they will create more jobs than the government. What government is doing here is in the short run. It's like palliatives. That's exactly what government is doing. If they are serious, they can isolate people who are ready to get into mechanized agriculture, and those people will create jobs if we are serious. So let's not just take it bit by bit. Okay, because the youths are restive, and then you want to do that, create 774,000. So next year, 2 years' time, 3 years' time, are you going to continue to do that? And that will all be substantial kind of famine. That will not help Nigeria. It will not help the economy. What will help the economy is for government to isolate those who want to go into mechanized farming and assist them. Not financial help, not giving them the money. Yeah, you can encourage them to get loans at reduced rates. That's what government can do, can encourage the central bank to give them substantial amount of loan at a reduced rate, and then they will take it from there. But government can do other things like encourage this, what you call the extension workers in the agricultural sector. Those extension workers can, of course, help those who are doing the substantial type of farming, but we are talking of mechanized farming. So I think government should come in and take the bull by the horn and do the right thing. But in the short term, let them do what they're doing, but let them be thinking about the long run. And that is only where Nigeria can, grow and then improve in their job creation.
Prof, there are some people who have argued that one of the setbacks, one of the challenges most local investors face, even in the agriculture sector, they want to bring in equipment. They want to prepare and develop the land. Even when they acquire the land from the states where they are available, they need quite some money to bring in facilities, irrigation, and all that to sustain agricultural production. But that access to foreign exchange is a drawback. I know for a fact that Dangote Group accesses foreign exchange at a rate the government offers it. It's pure understandable. I'm one of those who vote for that approach, because he creates much more wealth for this country than so many other companies. If that is the challenge, access to foreign exchange, would it not be advisable for the government and the Central Bank of Nigeria, in isolating these people we've mentioned, who are high performers in these areas, to also complement whatever assistance they are going to give to them, to access to foreign exchange at a lower rate within a specified period of time, so that they also become big employers? By the way, as you said to us, big employers are also big taxpayers.
Of course, I think I'm of the opinion that government should do that, just that. They have to isolate those big employers, those big performers, just like they have done in the case of Dangote, like you said. I think they should do that. That will be the thing that can create jobs. When you give them incentives to perform, they will perform and the job will be created. So I don't see anything wrong with that, provided they have a time frame that they can do it. If they can say maybe 5 years, the next 5 years, we'll give you this rebate, let's see what you can do. And I don't think, dual exchange rate, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. They have been doing it, so why can't they put it in the right sector that can ginger the economy and create jobs? So there's nothing wrong with that, and I think that's the best way to go. Why they are doing the short-term measures of probably using what they do, traders' money, you win, and the rest of them, there's nothing wrong. Let them do that in the short run, but let's be serious about job creation. Government will never create job that is sustainable in the long run. It is.
Yeah, government cannot create jobs that are sustainable in the long run. You are watching the Signature Show on AIT. We take a break and be back shortly. Stay with us.
This is SIGNATURETV.org. Breaking the news. Following the news. Analyzing the news. 247 round the clock. All on the go. SIGNATURETV.org. News in your pocket.
Well, you're welcome back. Now, Prof, there is a very loud complaint within the society that even as we make case for government to create jobs for the Nigerian youth, even as government makes effort indeed to create these jobs, many products of Nigerian universities who are supposed to take up these jobs are not employable. Is that a right assessment? Can anything be done about it?
It's a tough question. I believe that if government do the right thing and do what they're supposed to do in the educational sector, I think things will improve. For example, the infrastructure in the university system is nothing to write home about. The government has to come in and provide those infrastructure that the students need to learn. In terms of the quality of the teachers, the government again should do something. They should overhaul the academic system or educational system in Nigeria. Yes, most of our students are unemployable, but it's because government have not done what they're supposed to do. If they do that, I think we'll go a long way in changing the system the way it is right now.
And changing the story of the university.
Exactly, and changing the story of the university. So just to say that government is not doing enough. They have to do more. They have to do more. Just like recently, ASU is on strike. For the past almost 8-9 months, what is this? What is this? Government has to do something. They have to come in and settle the problem and get the student back to school. And then the government have to, and we have to bear in mind that we used to have these technical schools. Government should encourage those technical schools. I don't see anything wrong. Not everybody will go into the university system. Government can, we have polytechnics, we have other technical institutions. They will encourage them, fund them, so that those who are good in crafts can go into that. Those who can go into the university system and be lecturers in future, because what you put in is what you get out. So we have to be mindful of that. That in as much as we want to create jobs, but we want to be sure that those who are going to do the jobs are well qualified, have the technical abilities to do those jobs. It's not just creating jobs, but government has to come into the educational system and do something about the educational system in Nigeria before it
can get better. Prof, this is my last question this Sunday. I make you the President of the Federal Republic this afternoon, and you are confronted with this enormous task of turning this supertanker called the Nigerian economy, making it functional, making it respond to the needs of the Nigerian citizen, making it become not just a regional player or a continental player, but the Nigerian economy begins to push something into the global basket. You are the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What will you, as a professor of economics, be telling your team?
as the president, and if I'm going to be honest to myself, I have to go back to the Constitutional Conference that we had and look at the things that were recommended. I know one of them is regionalism. So if I'm the president, I will adopt that regionalism. It will encourage each region to develop at their own pace. I think that is the problem we have in Nigeria. And as the president of Nigeria, I will abolish quota system. I would definitely abolish it. I will abolish, they call it, state of origin. I can't believe in a country, if somebody from say, Lagos State is born in Kano, he haven't been to Lagos, and then he grew up in Kano.
And wants to invest in Kano
and
time.
Everything in Kano, and then you talk of state of origin, that he's from Lagos, and so he's not going to get the benefits in Kano. That does not make sense. So we should begin with the fundamentals. When those fundamentals are correct, then we will think about the way to move this country forward. And then we have a system where even the government agencies, they seem to be biased in the employment. You go to a particular parastatal, you see most of the people in a particular part of the country. I think I will abolish that. I will have fair deal for everybody. Fair share for everybody. No matter where you come from, no matter what state you come from. If I begin to do that, I believe that the system will be better for it. The thing that happens to this country is that we are not looking at what somebody can be able to do, but who the person knows. When we abolish all those, as a president, I will abolish that. I will choose the best. And once that is done, I think this country will move forward. So, just like you asked me, I have to change all those fundamentals and then think of ways to make sure I encourage those entrepreneurs who I know that can perform and can deliver and create more jobs to the teeming youths of this nation.
To the teeming youths of this nation who've been agitating for jobs, 774,000 jobs times 2, as I said at the beginning of this program, is a number. But I'm sure that you have also heard other perspectives to solving that problem. Professor AKANEGBU, thank you very much for coming to the program.
Thank you for inviting me.
Let the conversation continue next Sunday. My name remains Mwabu Zenjoko. Good afternoon.